It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over and ranking our top 100 cards right now in NBA 2K24, my team. Now, to preface this video, guys, I had 100 cards to rank. If I left anybody off this list, that definitely was a shoe-in, guys. I do apologize. I mean, I had to rank 100 cards, so I'm guessing I at least forgot one or two players, but that is a part of these videos. Also, this is my personal opinion. If you guys disagree with that, that is okay. Again, that's what makes these videos fun in general. If I had the same list as everyone else, it would be super boring. I mean, it would be so boring if everybody in the My Team community had the exact same list, same top 100. That would be no fun. So, this is my top 100. Started off at number 100. We're plugging in Emerald Terrence Mann. 6'5", 6'7" wingspan. Now, why do I like Terrence Mann? Well, he's got the best release in the entire game. 6'5", can play the shooting guard position, decent speed, decent lateral quickness, solid enough defensively, and again, the release carries the card. Do I need to say anything more? That's what makes this card fantastic. To be honest with you, I think Terrence Mann can play for a very long time. Now, does he play for me or my Nobody Spent Squad series? No, but the card definitely could. At my number 99, you guys might say he should be higher, Diamond Allen Iverson. Now, why is he so low? Well, he's only 6 feet tall with a 6'3" wingspan, and defensively, he just leaves a lot to be desired, and I don't think his release is like super cheesy. I think it's fine. I think it's a release you can use and have some success with. I just don't think it's great. I mean, decent, again, 3-ball, decent speed, decent lateral quickness. He's got some things going for him, but I just think at 6 feet tall, he needs to show me something a little bit more defensively. I'm not trying to sit here and just harp on how bad this card is defensively, but he is at minimum not great in my opinion. Coming in at my number 98, we're plugging in Amethyst David West. He is probably the best season reward that we saw all season long, but that's not saying much because the card still is obviously not great. And just a card that I wish was a little bit better. I wish I could sit here and say, oh yeah, David West definitely playable for you guys. He's just not great. Again, not horrible, but not a card that I would recommend running or anything like that. He's fine, just not, again, great in my humble opinion. Now, with that being said, he's not horrible. Okay, 82 3-ball, 88 speed, decent lateral, Hall of Fame catch and shoot, decent release. I mean, he's not horrible, but I don't want to hype up David West because I don't want 2K thinking, oh yeah, we did something with these motor rewards when they overall are absolutely horrible. At number 97, 'tis the season, Ruby Tari Eason. Now, maybe I'm gassing this card too much because he is really a budget baller. Like, every No Money Spent player could have got this card. But he's 6'8", 7'2" wingspan, can play this small forward position, good 3-ball, plays defense. There's just really a lot to like with Tari Eason. I like the Dame dribble style as well. So that's just another layer of this to break down. There's just not a lot of downsides to Tari Eason. I think as far as complete small forwards, he is definitely up there. At my number 96, Ruby Dennis Johnson. Now, I know Dennis Johnson's 3-ball is not great, and that's why a lot of people, when talking about Dennis Johnson, really might not hype the card up a ton, but he's got such a smooth and easy to time, easy green release. 6'4", gonna play a ton of defense. I just wish his 3-ball was a little bit higher, but that release, super good, super easy to time, easy to green, and definitely a card that you guys can use and have a ton of success with. At my number 95, Diamond Russell Westbrook. So Dennis Johnson was number 96. At my number 95, Diamond Russell Westbrook. And I know a lot of guys probably just saw that. What, Ty? You're putting Russell Westbrook right alongside Dennis Johnson? And yes, you saw that right. You read that right. Here's the deal. I think it's really preference-based between who you guys prefer between Russ and Dennis Johnson. For me personally, I probably would prefer Dennis Johnson. Now if I'm going to say that, I've got to answer the why. Why? Dennis Johnson has a quicker release. He's going to play just as good, if not better defense. He's an inch taller. I just think the card's got just as much going for him, but I respect Russ putting him at number 95. At number 94, Pink Diamond Dirk. 74 speed with a slow release. I know he's got a 95 3 ball. I know he can dunk the ball, but he can't handle the ball. His defense is abysmal. People are gassing this Dirk. And the reason I know people are gassing this Dirk is because I see so many people using him, running him. And I'm just sitting there like, what are we doing as a community running Pink Diamond Dirk? There are so many different better options that people could be running. Yet I see so many Pink Diamond Dirks running throughout Triple Threat and even my Team Unlimited. At my number 93, Pink Diamond Steve Francis. You had to win so many games of salary cap for this card. I'm pretty sure like 60 games of salary cap is what it ultimately would take for this card. Now, is he worth that? No. Okay, and I'm not even sitting here saying I hate Steve Francis. I'm not sitting here saying Steve Francis is bad. But is he worth that many games? No, I'm just being honest with you. 6'3", can dunk the ball, plays decent defense, great playmaking wise. But again, I don't know what it is with the Zach LaVine dribble style. I am not a fan of it though in my team. At my number 2, Amethyst Scottie Barnes. Especially with the duo with Siakam, I think this card needs to at least be respected. Without the duo, he's still fine. Not a card I necessarily love, but 6'8", gonna play solid enough defense, and just a card you can run and have a lot of success with in my team. At my number 91, Ruby Alex Caruso. Now, nobody really talks about Ruby Alex Caruso, and I think it's because of a variety of reasons. Let's start with this. He's 37,000 MT. Now, who is going to pick up Alex Caruso for 37,000 MT and think, oh yeah, I got a great budget option? Nobody. He's way overpriced, but he does play a ton of defense for you, and that I can respect. Alex Caruso, I feel like will never get the respect he deserves because he was way overpriced. Cracking the top 90, Swaggy P Nick Young, 6'7", 7-foot wingspan, hot spots for everywhere, great offense. I think this card is fantastic. The problem is his defense, but at least he's 6'7". At least he has that going for him. Swaggy P in my team could be a lot better, but he could also be a lot worse. So I can't hate on the card. Hopefully we get a Swaggy P in the future because I am a massive fan of that release. Cracking my top 90 at my number 89, Diamond Dwight Howard. Great speed, great interior. Honestly, just a great interior presence. The problem is he's exactly that. Has no 3-ball at all. And I don't want to sit here and say it ruins the card because the card still does a lot for you guys on the court. But it definitely hurts the card, the fact that he cannot shoot at all. At my number 88, speaking of the Siakam Scottie Barnes duo, again, way better with the duo. Without the duo, Siakam still can't play. Problem is, release, again, some people love it. To me, I don't hate the release. It is a little slow though, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That release, definitely just a little slow, somewhat tough to get up in a tight window. It's easy to time, easy to green. Siakam does play a lot of defense. He's just undersized for that power forward position. At my number 87, we're plugging in Anthony Davis. Now, you guys can call me crazy, but this card can still play. Decent 3-ball, decent speed. Interior is solid with the Hall of Fame anchor and post-lockdown. Now, maybe I'm higher on AD than I should be, but I still have some respect for this card because his release is super easy to time, easy to green. Can compete on the interior, and his 6'10" height is really solid. At my number 86, Diamond John Wall. Some people might have John Wall as a top 60 player on their list. For me, I've never been good with John Wall, and so I'm not going to sit here and fake gas the card. I don't like him. I can see how you guys like him if you're good with his dribble sigs and good with his release because he finishes on anything. Great finishing badges. But for me, I don't see it because I've never been good with this card. So again, I'm not going to gas a card I've personally never been good with. If you're good with John Wall, do what you got to do. For me, he comes in at number 86. At my number 85, we're plugging in Andre Kirilenko, AK-47, 6'9", 7-foot wingspan, hot spot from that left corner, and that's it. Decent 3-ball, decent speed, solid defensively. So what is the problem I see with AK? Well, I don't hate his release. I'm just not a massive fan of his release. And outside of that, guys, dunking-wise, doesn't do anything, gives you 0 shooting badges. Card just leaves a lot to be desired. We are due for a new AK-47, and when he comes out, should be really solid. At my number 84, Diamond Ray Allen. Man, I miss the times. What would it have been? In 2K20 when Ray Allen was super good. It's just not Ray Allen's era anymore. Like, again, Ray Allen in 2K used to be good because he used to have the best release in the entire game. And for his specific time, whenever Ray Allen got a good card, the card could play. Still has some great shooting badges. It's just defensively, it leaves a lot to be desired. Badge-wise, though, I respect Ray Allen. He's got a ton of total badges. At my number 83, we got an Ami here. Doug Christie. Now, when you compare Doug Christie to Ray Allen, and some people might really prefer Ray Allen to Doug Christie, my whole thing is this. Give me the guy that I think is going to be the more complete player. And for me, as it stands right now, give me Doug Christie. The defense he is going to play is absolutely elite. 6'6", still has a serviceable 3-ball with a decent release. Give me Doug Christie over Ray Allen 10 times out of 10. At my number 82, Amethyst Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, maybe I'm gassing this card because he is free with a locker code, but I feel like everybody that has Jaren got a really solid card. Now, maybe I'm gassing him because he definitely helped me get the check block, so that could be another reason with it. But I just think the pros outweigh the cons with this card. Decent 3-ball, decent speed, really solid on the interior. Plays a lot of defense for you. I like Jaren in my team. Jordan Poole coming in here at my number 81. Now, for Jordan Poole, I don't think the card's nearly perfect, and it all starts with that release. I think that release is super slow, is super baited. But what I do know about Jordan Poole is he's going to play a ton of defense for you. Great interior, great perimeter, great lateral quickness, good speed, gets so many good defensive badges at 6'4", which is a decent height, decent frame. Again, I'm not trying to sit up here and say Jordan Poole is perfect because I think his release is slow, his movement I don't even think is great. But this card can definitely play at a pretty high level. At my number 80, we're plugging in Joe Johnson. Gauntlet reward of Season 2. 91 3-ball, 89 speed, solid lateral, good shooting badges. The problem with Joe Johnson, ISO Joe, is that release. Release just too slow for me to take this card any more serious. At my number 79, we're plugging in Ruby Jonathan Bender, 6'11", 7'3" wingspan. Defensive stats just aren't quite as good as I wish they were. Decent release, dribble style being Joel Embiid's troll as well. Solid at this small forward, power forward position. I can't hate on the card. Good size, good versatility. I just don't think this card is as perfect as I initially thought. And again, it's not me hating on him, right? I still think the card is overall good, overall solid. I just don't think I can gas him as like being that, best budget small forward in the entire game. I don't think he's quite that good. At my number 78, Amethyst Jason Kidd, 6'4", 6'8" wingspan. Now, nobody talks about Jason Kidd, but I believe people should be talking about this card because of what he does. Hall of Fame diamond clamps, decent release because it is on quick. I just don't think people realize everything this Jason Kidd card can do. If this card came out a little earlier, I feel like people really would respect him, or even if he had that diamond glow, I think people really would respect this card and think super highly of him. That's just kind of my whole thing. I feel like everybody pays way too much attention to what tier of the card are they. If this Jason Kidd was a diamond or even peak diamond, everybody would be gassing him, but because he's an amethyst, nobody really wants to talk about the card. At my number 77, Kenyon Martin as a Ruby. Evo him to an Ami, gets a lot better. 6'9", 7-foot wingspan, 86 3-ball, 85 speed. And obviously defensively is really solid as well. Kenyon Martin, a guy I picked up on my No Money Spent squad series and never looked back. Release is a little bit slow, but I like this card for what he provides for 10,000 MT. He's tough to beat. Next up, guys, at number 76, we're plugging in Jeremy Grant, card that did come out in the NBA season set as a breakout player. Now, Jeremy Grant, look, I can't hate on him on this card. He's just bang average. Like, I don't hate on him. He's fine. 6'7", 7'2" wingspan, but I just don't think I can necessarily gas this card. He's fine at nearly everything. Not fantastic defensively, but solid. Not fantastic offensively, but solid. He's fine. You can run this card, and if you, let's say, got him for free somehow, he can play. What's the deal of the day? Even for that, I didn't think he was ultimately worth it. At my number 75, Diamond Brandon Roy, 6'6", 6'8" wingspan, hot spots from everywhere outside the three-point arc. 86 3-ball, 88 speed, solid driving dunk. The problem with this B-Roy is really the defense. I mean, for his time, it wasn't that bad, but as times went on, we've seen better and better cards just, continue to evolve. And I just feel like with this B-Roy, he just hasn't stayed up with the times. He's fine for what he was, but at this stage of my team, his time has came and gone. At my number 71, we're plugging in Ruby Harold Miner, 6'5", 6'8" wingspan, outspots from both corners and the left slot, 85 3-ball, 90 speed, solid defense. And that's the big difference that I see, even between this card and a guy like Brandon Roy, is I do think Harold Miner is just going to play way better defense. Now, whoever you prefer offensively, it's personal preference. I think Brandon Roy obviously has the edge there, but I think as an overall card, give me Harold Miner by the slightest of margins. At my number 73, we're plugging in Ruby KCP, a card everybody is sleeping on at this stage of my team. I don't see anybody running this card or talking about him, but this card can still play. 87 3 ball, 85 speed, 87 lateral, great release. There's just nobody talking about him, and again, I'm not quite sure why, because I still am a big fan of what this KCP can provide for you and your specific squad in my team as it stands right now. Coming in at my number 72, Damian Lillard's Pink Diamond. Card who I'll probably never get because I do not play much domination at all. But I respect, like when I'm up against Damian Lillard, I respect this card at least on the offensive end of the court. And that's half the battle, right? Offense is literally half the battle. 6'2", 6'7" wingspan, outside spread, 95 3 ball, 93 speed, solid lateral quickness. Offensively, it does not get much better than Damian Lillard. Again, I'll probably never get this card, but I respect Damian Lillard more than about anybody else in my team. Next up, guys, at number 71, we're plugging in a card who I've never used in Amethyst, LaMarcus Aldridge. 85 3 ball, 74 speed, 75 lateral quickness. I really hope I've got LaMelo Ball somewhere. Okay, I do. I had to make sure because I feel like he would be the type of guy I left off. But this card's a stretch big at 6'11" that can somewhat compete on the interior. I can't hate on LaMarcus Aldridge. He's just not a card I've ever used. Cracking the top 70, Diamond Bradley Beal, your highest collector reward as it stands right now on my team. Obviously, new ones are going to come out. That's going to change super soon. 93 3 ball, 93 speed, is solid defense, half range, ankle breaker, handles for days, hyper drive. There's just no real flaws with Bradley Beal. The one thing I would say about Brad Beal, at least for me, is that release just doesn't feel as quick as I would want it to be, right? And that's mostly coming from my time when I use the Phoenix Suns in play now. I feel like his release was super easy to time and easy to green. I just feel like it was just a little slow for my liking. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm being too biased, but that's my opinion. Brandon Miller at number 69. 6'9", 7'1" wingspan, hot spots from everywhere. Great badge-wise, great stat-wise. There's just no real flaws with Brandon Miller outside of the fact that he just doesn't do anything at an elite level. D-book dribble style is fantastic, but he's got decent three ball, decent defense, decent everything, and it's hard for me to gas this card up anymore. I like Brandon Miller. I think for no money spent players, the card's fantastic. 69 is as high as I could go. At 68, a card I slightly prefer right now to Brandon Miller is Herb Jones. Now, why? Because Herb Jones gives you a great defender. Like, Brandon Miller is good offensively, good defensively. Herb Jones, great offensively, and still is going to knock down shots at a really high level on that offensive end of the court. I've liked this card. I evoed him. Yes, his release might be too slow for what you guys are wanting, but when I've used Herb Jones, I've had a lot of success with this card in my team. At my number 67, we're plugging in Big Game James, Amethyst James Worthy. Card nobody really talks about again because he was 80,000 MT when he came out. And was he worth that price? Is he worth that price? Absolutely not. But I still respect him for what he is. 6'9", solid enough three ball, good speed, good defense. And the best part about Big Game James is his wide player model player build. That's going to be the one thing that he has over some other guys that we talk about today on this top 100 list. At my number 66, Diamond Toni Kukoc. I didn't know where to plug in this card because I feel like, you know, he's solid, but if it wasn't for his height, I don't know who's really going to hype this card up. The height is the best part about him, 6'11", similar to Jonathan Better, but just a little bit better. That's what I would say about Toni Kukoc. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just kind of my brief opinion on the card as it stands right now in my team. Cracking our top 65. We're plugging in another Evo card, this one being Jarred Vanderbilt. Diamond Vandal, 83 3 ball, 88 speed, really solid defensively. A lot of you guys might think Jarred Vanderbilt should be higher. The one thing I would say about Vandal is I wish I could put him higher. The problem I see with this card is his release isn't great. He can't really dribble. He's missing some key badges that I thought the Evo would get him, like clamps and anchor. He doesn't get either of those. Just leaves some things to be desired. Still really solid in my team. Jaylen Brown coming in here at number 64. Look, I just never figured out why they didn't make Jaylen Brown better. And that's something like, it just bugs me a little bit. Like, why did they make Jaylen Brown so bad in my team? He could have been a perfect 3-and-D shooting guard. Now, again, there's going to be a limit always to how good he can be because his release isn't the best. It's on the slow side of things. But they still hold him with his defensive stats, defensive badges. They could have made this card so much better, and 2K did Jaylen Brown so dirty. So dirty that I've got Austin Reaves ahead of him at number 63. Why do I like Austin Reaves more? Well, even badge-wise, just way better. Austin Reaves' release is pretty solid. Obviously, debug dribble style is something I'm going to definitely like always. I just think he just gives you a little more. Obviously, you're looking at offense versus defense when you're comparing Austin Reaves to Jaylen Brown, but I think it's just more of a credit to Austin Reaves than a slander to Jaylen Brown. But it is a little bit of both. At my number 62, one of my favorite budget ballers in the entire game, Rui Hachimura, 6'8", 6'10" wingspan. Is it a coincidence I put him right next to Austin Reaves? I mean, a little bit, but if you run the duo, obviously makes him a ton better. There's just no flaws with Rui. Can play defense a little, knocks down shots at an elite level. Just love him as far as a 3-and-D guy in my team. At my number 61, Diamond Lonzo Ball. Honestly, at this stage, if you're running Lonzo, you're just probably a big Lonzo Ball fan, because there's really, at this stage, no reason to run this card. Plays decent defense, can knock down open shots, but he just is probably not playable really for you guys. He's playable, but probably shouldn't play for you guys anymore in my team. At my number 60, OG Anunoby, a card who nobody really talks about. The only reason I talk about him is because I got him out of an equal chance pack. 86 3-ball, good speed, solid lateral quickness. Again, nobody's going to sit there and be like, man, I love my OG Anunoby, because a lot of people don't have this card. But if you do get OG Anunoby, even if it's out of a free pack, just know he can play at a really high level, okay? I want you guys to know and be aware of that, because, again, even if it wasn't for me pulling him out of the free pack, I would have never even used this card. But I do like the card in my team. At my number 59, we're plugging in big Nicholas Claxton, 6'11", 7'2" wingspan. Now, for a moment, 2K nerfed the 3-ball. They thought Claxton was too good. Claxton's fine. Is he, D-Rob level like DBG says? No, he's not even close. But the card can go out there and somewhat compete on the basketball court, deserving of my number 59. Deserving of my number 58, Jalen Suggs-Ruby. Now, without the duo, I can't sit here and lie. I like the card, but without the duo, he's not perfect. Silver Limitless is nice, plays defense, 6'5", super key at that point guard position. With the duo, obviously, just becomes lights out, so much better. At my number 57, we're plugging in Michael Beasley. 6'9", 7-foot wingspan, and Michael Beasley, not gonna play a lot of defense. But guess what, guys? That's not what he's on the court to do. Hall of Fame precision, great release. He's got the Terrence Mann base. To me, he's just a better version of Terrence Mann. That's the way you've got to think of Michael Beasley in my team. Again, offensively gonna struggle, but on the defensive end of the court, so good. Bobby Portis coming in at number 56. When you think about some of the best Evo cards in the entire game, you've gotta mention Bobby Portis. A card who, again, a lot of people might not want to think a ton about, but he is fantastic. 6'11", 7'2" wingspan, knocks down threes from both corners, great 3-ball, good speed, and competes on the interior. Bobby Portis, one of my favorite Evo cards in the entire game. At my number 55, a card I absolutely hate, Derrick Rose. I mean, he's at number 55, but I cannot stand this card. And so I'm saying this in the most respectful way possible. Look, if you got Derrick Rose and you're liking Derrick Rose, man, congrats. But I gotta say it, I can't stand this card in my team. I don't like his release. I don't necessarily like his movement with that trade dribble style either. If y'all make it work with him, y'all are something different, because I absolutely stink with Derrick Rose in my team. At my number 54, we're going to plug in Mitchell Robinson. The Evo card, Evo M2 Ruby, gets a decent 3-ball, comes with a decent release. Obviously, interior defense is going to be solid for Mitchell Robinson. For budget ballers, this is the center I would probably prioritize over nearly anybody else. Again, turn that real player percentage on. Grind out Evo super easily in my team. Coming in at my, where are we at? 53. The other side of the Jalen Suggs duo, we got Mr. Franz Wagner, 6'10", 7-foot wingspan. In my opinion, maybe my favorite budget card in the entire game. Obviously, you put the duo on him, becomes even better. But without the duo, he's still fine, because he's 6'10", good 3-ball, solid defender. I mean, again, without the duo, he's still one of my favorite budget cards in the entire game. With the duo, he is just literally Zeus on this game. And I'm not trying to sit here and gas him. He is that good. Franz Wagner coming in at number 53. At my number 52, we're going to plug in Mr. Domantas Sabonis. He's 7-1 in this game, which, again, I've never really understood why he's 7-1. If you guys know, you guys can let me know down below in the comments. But, yeah, I don't know why he's 7-1. 7'3" wingspan, can shoot the ball a little bit. Speed is a little low. Lateral quickness isn't obviously great, but he's fine. Could at least go out there and compete on the interior because of his height. Again, I don't necessarily love a lot of things with Domantas Sabonis. Some people are running the duo with Kevin Huerter, but I don't really want to run Kevin Huerter. Sabonis is fine. I just think there are overall some better options in my team. At my number 51, Lamar Odom here. I mean, look, I don't like him as a gauntlet card. I got to be honest with you. I think the first gauntlet reward card we have is better than this Diamond Lamar Odom. And you guys will see where I put the first guy at, but that's just kind of what I'm basing this whole opinion on with of Lamar Odom. I just think, you know, when we're talking about gauntlets, they've got to be better in the future. They have to, because this is not the type of gauntlet we need. Now, he's fine. He can do a lot of things on the court for you. He's not a guy, if you throw out there, he's going to, you know, ruin the game for you. He just needs to be better. If you're going to grind out 12 unlimited games in a row, they need to be better than Lamar Odom. Cracking our top 50, Derek White, super easy addition into the top 50. Great release, good 3-ball, great defensively, Hall of Fame challenger and clamps. There's just not many flaws with Mr. Derek White in my team. If you've never used the card, guys, he is one of, if not the best budget point guard in the entire game. Larry Hughes didn't make this top 100, probably should have, okay? So I just want to apologize to you guys right now. If you are a big Larry Hughes fan, he is really good as well, but just, you know, again, I'm going to forget some people on the list. It's the nature of the list, or doing the list, but Derek White definitely deserving of my number 50. At my number 49, Mr. Blake Griffin. Nobody's talking about Blake, and even the amount of Blakes I've ran into compared to the amount of Dirks I've ran into is crazy. I'm going to say it right now. Blake is so much better than Dirk. It is absolutely crazy and amazing to me how many more Dirks I've seen compared to Blake's. And I get it. Dirk's taller. Dirk's a bigger name. All those types of things. Blake defensively is fantastic. The only thing I don't like about Blake is, you know, his undersized. He's undersized, and his playmaking ability isn't nearly as important as it has been in past years. At my number 48, Diamond DeJounte Murray, 6'5", 6'10" wingspan, 85 3-ball, 92 speed, really good defensively. Now, DeJounte Murray, when he came out, people were saying he's going to be the best point guard in the entire game. Did he live up to that? No. Okay, and I'm not going to try to sit here and act like he did. He did not live up to that. 40 strength leaves a lot to be desired as well, but still the card is good. Good, not great, is the way I'd phrase it for DeJounte Murray in my team. At my number 47, Diamond Shaq. You could get this card for free if you grinded out all the legendary path agendas. Was it worth grinding out? I don't know. I don't really know. I was just, because I already had Shaq basically on my main account, and on the no money spent, I reset, so I really wasn't worried about Shaq. But if you got him, you got a top 50 card in my team. And it's crazy the longevity of Shaquille O'Neal, considering this card came out in Season 1. At my number 46, wherever Wilt is wherever Shaq's got to be. They're forever going to be on the same type of level because they're literally like the exact same players. Now, are they a little bit different? Sure. I mean, you're basically splitting hairs, though, when you are comparing the two. Preference-based, I probably prefer Wilt by the slightest of margins. At my number 45, Diamond Michael Jordan. It's crazy to say this, but Diamond Michael Jordan is deserving of number 45 on my list. And I'm already knowing, I forgot Paul George. So I'm just going to plug in Paul George right alongside another guy because, again, I just am knowing I forgot him on this tier list. So there's going to be two guys at one ranking as I continue to go up. But MJ at number 45 here. Slower release, but again, it's fine because he plays so much defense for you. I wish MJ would have had a longer stint in my team, but you know what? He's MJ. He's still relevant as it stands. At my number 44, Diamond Dennis Rodman. Now look, I'm biased against Dennis Rodman because I just can't stand his release. I can't stand his release. And how am I supposed to sit here and hype up a card whose release I just do not like? That bugs me. I don't like doing it, but defensively he's fantastic. 6'7", gonna play lanes. Pat Ewing base, you can green with it. I think Dennis Rodman is fine, and honestly, even for my no money spent, he's a guy I could pick up and have a lot of success with. At my number 43, a card I can't stand, Diamond LaMelo Ball. I can't stand this card. Some people try to hype this card up as a top 5 point guard in the entire game. No, no, no. His release is horrible. I don't like his movement. I just don't see it with LaMelo. And again, a lot of people absolutely love LaMelo Ball. I can't stand him. I mean, even defensively, he's the definition of mid. LaMelo, not it, in my opinion, in my team. At my number 42, we're plugging in Diamond Kevin Durant. Now, look, I'm sorry, Carlo. He's not S tier, but he's not horrible. Like, you can still run KD and have some success with him, but he's definitely not in that top 2 or 3 range at that small forward position like Mr. Carlo 221 thinks this card is. Next up, guys, at my number 41, Rudy Gobert. Yes, I think he's better than Shaq and Wilt by the slightest of margins. Just 7-1, massive, massive, massive on the court. I do respect Rudy in my team. I think this card, especially for a free card, one of the best free cards you'll get all year long. Diamond Chet from the Freaky Collection, 7'1", 7'6" wingspan, outspots from both quarters and the top of the key, 84 3-ball, really solid defense. Just a stretch big in my team. Now, obviously, Pink Diamond Chet came out and ruined the Diamond Chet, but it is what it is. At my number 39, Showtime J.R. Smith. Now, look, I put this card way higher than I should have, and that's okay. Honestly, whatever, I'll live with it. This card probably should be in the mid-50s as I'm sitting here looking at this, but oh well. You know what? If you want to use J.R. Smith, he's fine. Limitless range, has all the badges he needs. Look, I put him way higher than he should have been, but it is what it is. Some people might like J.R. Smith a little more than I do, but I just did not adjust my list with this card. At my number 38, card who definitely deserves it right here, D'Angelo Russell. 6'4", 6'9" wingspan, solid defense, offensively can get the job done as well. There's just not really any flaws with D'Lo. He can defend, he can play make, he can knock down shots. The one thing I will say is he is still going to be undersized on the court. Like when I've used D'Lo, you know, as much as I've liked using D'Lo and had fun using him, he is definitely undersized on the court, and that is something you will notice as you do play with the card. At my number 37, Diamond Chris Bosh. Yes, Gauntlet Reward Chris Bosh cracks my top 40. Crazy. Came out in Season 1. Still one of my favorite cards as it stands. Perfect stretch big in my team that had enough defense with the Hall of Fame rebound chaser. Chris Bosh, you'll always have a special place in my heart. At my number 36, Diamond Andre Iguodala, 85 3-ball, 92 speed, really solid defensively, great defensive badges. Now, Iggy, I mean, look, there were just so many other great shooting guards in my team, and that's why it's tough to get to run Andre Iguodala, but I like this card. He was fine for me. His release, just a little slow. Next up, guys, coming in at my number 35, we've got the Diamond Zion Williamson. Now, this is one that irritates me. And why does it irritate me? Because I had the entire My Team community mad at me. Because I said the Zion packs, the Diamond basically packs, you had a 43% chance to pull the Diamond. I said that they were not worth it. For 10,000 MT. The entire community got so mad at me. I stand by what I said. Those packs were not worth it. You know, a 43% chance to pull an unauctionable who is number 35 in my team, and at my number 34 is the other diamond you can pull. You can pull Zion, DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall. None of those cards cracked the top 30. Definitely wasn't worth it in my opinion. 6'10 for Boogie, 7'5 wingspan, outspots from both corners, 88 3-ball, 87 speed, good driving dunk. Thing about Boogie is great offensively, great defensively. The thing about Zion is he's great defensively. I just can't stand that release. At my number 33, Diamond James Harden, 95 3-ball, 92 speed, 87 lateral quickness, Hall of Fame Agent 3, as well as limitless range. The thing with Harden is defensively he's not great. He's not as bad as people make him out to be though on that defensive end of the court. And offensively, still super unstoppable. At my number 32, Diamond RJ Barrett, 87 3-ball, 89 speed, 87 lateral quickness, good playmaking. My favorite thing about RJ Barrett is his release. I know it's only on normal timing, but I am a massive fan of his release. One thing about RJ, you pair him with Patrick Ewing, the card becomes a lot better. Now, you guys might be like, ew, Patrick Ewing, but Ewing really is not that bad in my team. At my number 31, Diamond Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 7'2". The problem with Kareem is his 3-ball is just not consistent. I just don't think you're going to consistently green with Kareem. If I'm wrong, you guys can let me know that down below in the comments, but I just don't know if I'm consistently greening with Kareem unless he's got that Hall of Fame catch and shoot. At my number 30, Diamond Grant Hill. Nobody's really going to talk about this card because he's way too expensive and way too overpriced, but Grant Hill can play in my team. There's no doubt about that. Again, I don't know if he's worth the price. I don't think he is, but if you get Grant Hill, or if you got Grant Hill, this card can play. Release a little slow, not a great dribble style, but the card still is not bad in my team. At my number 29, Diamond Luol Deng. Talk about a complete polar opposite. When you're comparing Grant Hill is going to do most things better than Sweet Lou. The one thing he's not going to do, though, is have a better release. Luol Deng's release, so smooth, so easy to time and easy to green in my team as it stands. Next up, guys, at my number 28, Dikembe Mutombo. When you evo him to a diamond, 3-ball goes way up, speed still fine, and on the interior, gonna play great defense. Rebounding wise, even solid as well. I don't mind Dikembe's release as much as I have in the past either. This card can play at an extremely high level in my team. Rudy up next at number 27. Talk about great releases. I feel like you've got to mention this guy. Super easy to time, super easy to green. Is it the best release in the game? I don't think so. But it is one I've had a lot of personal success with. I never missed when I got open with this card, which is one of the main reasons I definitely do love him. If you can green consistently with the card, definitely matters at least a little bit. Ewing, the other part of RJ in that duo at number 26. This card's underrated. I never thought I'd be hype about a Patrick Ewing card, but this card can play at a really high level in my team. Where do you want to start with Patrick Ewing? The 3-ball, 83 ball with the duo obviously goes up to an 88. Anchor, poker stick, post lockdown, all on a Hall of Fame. This card can play. I'm a fan of what Patrick Ewing does provide for you and your specific squad. At my number 25, Diamond Giannis Antetokounmpo. 3-ball is a little bit low, but everything else, especially on the defensive end of the court, he is going to do at an extremely high level. Again, for Giannis, obviously he got overshadowed by the pink diamond, but I don't even like saying that because Diamond Giannis in his own right is still absolutely elite. At my number 24, Diamond Greg Oden. 79 3-ball, 86 speed, solid lateral quickness, really solid defensively. Like, as much as I like Patrick Ewing, as much as I like Kareem, those guys do not compare to what Greg Oden can do on the court. Oden can do it all at a really solid level in my team. Definitely a card that I not only respect, but have enjoyed using as I have, the last couple of days since he has came out. At my number 23, Evan Mobley. Card that I think is super slept on in the My Team community is this Diamond Evan Mobley card. Now, look, I get it. His release is slow. And I can't even argue that, oh, his release is okay. You guys need to get past it. Nah, it's just not good. And I'll be the first one to admit that. I do not like Evan Mobley's release. But what else does he give you? 6'11 frame, large player, model player build, and he can still consistently knock down shots for you. At my number 22, Diamond Anthony Davis, 6'10", 7'5" wingspan, hot spots from both corners. Decent 3-ball at an 82, 88 speed, solid lateral quickness. There's just no flaws with A Disney in my team. Release, super easy to time, easy to green, comes with a half rebound chaser. AD can play in my team. At my number 21, SGA Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I've came to the conclusion of this. At this stage, for me and SGA, it's just not meant to be. I think I'm better just with some other point guards in my team. But if you're good with SGA, this card still can play. Quick release, decent movement. SGA, really solid, still to this day in my team. Kwame Brown, cracking our top 20. Yes, I like Kwame Brown more than Anthony Davis. And if you're wondering why, I really like Kwame's player build, and he does have a quicker release. The big deal with the quicker release is when you're up against a really solid opponent, it's not always just easy to get that release off. And if you have Kwame Brown, it's way easier to get off an open shot compared to Anthony Davis. Again, I like both cards. I'm not hating on Anthony Davis. I still think the card is really solid. I'm just saying when you're comparing the two, that is the big difference I see. AD's is easier to green. Kwame Brown's is just that little bit quicker, in my opinion. At number 19, Ron Artest, 6'7", 6'10" wingspan, hot spots from both corners. He's got that Rudy base as well, so you're not going to miss shots with Mr. Ron Artest. One of my favorite parts about the card, him and Rudy both. If I shoot with him, I know it is going in. At my number 18, Amethyst Cade Cunningham, 6'7", 7'1" wingspan, good 3-ball, decent speed. With Cade, just a little bit of everything. An all-around point guard. Not great defensively, but good enough. Great release. High 3-ball. Cade Cunningham, super overlooked. 63,000 MT. tough to get a better point guard in that price range. Jason Tatum Diamond coming in at number 17, 6'8", 6'10 wingspan. Is he the best small forward in the game? In my opinion, no. Is he top 3 or 4? Yes. Okay, he is that good, and definitely a card that if you really like Jason Tatum in real life, just pick him up, have fun with it. At my number 16, I'm plugging in 2 guys, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, both guys for the Clippers, both guys I do respect in 2K as well. For Kawhi, movement-wise, not great, but defensively, fantastic. For Mr. Paul George, movement-wise, better, defensively, still really solid. And guess what? He's 6'8". Paul George's longevity in my team has been absolutely ridiculous. Coming in here at number 15, guys, we've got Pink Diamond Season 3 Ultimate Reward Kevin Garnett. Now, the problem I got with KG is this. He's not as good as he should have been. Now, is he a top 15 card in the game? I think so, but that's not saying much, and I'll get to why. This card's really solid, especially defensively. I used him today pretty heavy and unlimited, and I enjoyed the card. It's just offensively, he's not going to give you a whole ton. At my number 14, Mr. Penny Hardaway, 89 3-ball, 93 speed, really solid defensively. You can still argue, I don't want to make the argument, but you can still argue that he's one of, if not the most complete point guard in the entire game. Now, why do I not want to make that argument? Because I do not love Penny defensively, and even offensively, I think there's better cards. But 6'7", good frame, really good badge-wise. Penny, really super complete in my team. At my number 13, level 40 card, Jimmy Butler. This is one of the main reasons, and I am glad they made Jimmy this good, because Jimmy is fine. But the fact of the matter is, KG is way harder to get than Jimmy. And so why is Jimmy better than KG? I think the grind should match how good the player is, and that's just me. But I'm glad 2K gave us a good Jimmy. This card's fantastic offensively because he can move and groove. Defensively, he's great. It's just his release that is a little bit slow. At my number 12, Hakeem Olajuwon. Even with Hakeem, it's the same type of thing. I like Hakeem. I'm going to go and get Hakeem just for the sake of having him. But does the grind match how good the card is? That's the question I want to ask you. And I don't think so. Hakeem needed to be better. The card's fine, but he did need to be a little bit better in my team. At my number 11, Diamond Devin Booker, 6'5", 6'6", wingspan, hot spots from everywhere. Offensively, one of the most complete cards in the entire game. Problem with D-Book is, if you use this card, people are just going to constantly and consistently attack him on the defensive end of the court. And at this stage, I don't know if it's worth running him over my number 10, who is Diamond Drew Holiday. In my squad, Drew Holiday is my backup point guard. So he's got to be a top 10 card for me. Hall of Fame 94 feet, Hall of Fame clamps, great defense, offensively does enough for me. Release, gonna take you guys a little bit of getting used to, but when you get used to Drew Holiday's release, you're going to love the card. At my number 9, Pink Diamond Klay Thompson. No Klay Thompson slander allowed on the Ty Debo videos, okay? Because I love Klay in my team. Card's not perfect, no doubt. I would like to see him be a little bit faster, rebounding a little bit better, but sharp shooting, fantastic, can dunk the ball. Klay, really solid in my team. At my number 8, Diamond David Robinson. Now, I've not been using this card recently just because I've been using him since, early December. I want to use some new cards, but D-Rob is fantastic, can stretch the court, shoot the ball. Some people even think this card's better than Wembanyama. I certainly do not. At my number 7, Luka Doncic, Pink Diamond. I do not care who needs to hear it. Luka Doncic is good. Some people want to slander this card. Hey, that's fine. Let them slander Luka all they want. But defensively, he's one of the best point guards in the entire game. And I think his offense is genuinely underrated. And I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people are stubborn. A lot of people don't want to hear that because his release still is not great. But Luka, I love you. You are fantastic in my team. At my number 6, Pink Diamond Chet. This is the problem I got with Hakeem and KG. I love Chet. I like the Chet grind. But the problem is, if you're going to make the Chet grind you got to make KG and Hakeem just a little bit better. Because it's going to take me so many more hours to get both KG and Hakeem than Chet. And that's just something that bugs me a little bit. Like, I'm still grinding Hakeem Olajuwon, and I have been all season. Meanwhile, Chet just replaces him for 200 blocks. It's just kind of crazy in my opinion. At my number 5, Diamond LeBron James, 88 3-ball, really good speed, solid lateral quickness. Bron is Bron, man. Now, we're probably going to get another Bron here shortly. This Bron has played forever, still a top 5 card in the game, which is absolutely nuts for a card that came out in mid-November, nearly 2 months ago. At my number 4, Pink Diamond Adam Morrison. Is Adam Morrison worth it? That's the question I get a lot of. My answer is no. And it's not because Adam Morrison himself isn't good. It's the fact that you got to spend what? $50, $60, however much it is, $70. And Adam Morrison's the only card in that set that is absolutely elite. That's the problem. I like Adam Morrison. His release is fantastic. The Jerry West upper is a little slow for me. But the big problem I see with him is there's no other card in this rewritten set, in my opinion, that is really that makes Adam Morrison worth it. At my number 3, Pink Diamond Giannis Antetokounmpo. And that's the big problem I have with this set. If you spent BC and got Giannis, all the cards in this were AD, JT, Kawhi, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker. All those cards are very usable, so if you were to lock in Giannis, way more worth it than locking in a guy like Adam Morrison. Giannis, hey, I got him in number 3. You guys can debate it. You guys can hate me if you want. But I really like this card. Defensively, one of the best players in the entire game. Offensively, can knock down shots for you. If you've never used Giannis in 2K, you might want to start. At my number 2, Pink Diamond Kobe Bean Bryant. This card, by far and away your best shooting guard in the game. Best primary ball in the game. Best release in the entire game. Kobe Bean Bryant, one of the best cards. My number 2. At my number 1, Victor, I'm getting tired. Victor Wembanyama. Here's the deal: 7'4", 8-foot wingspan, 87 3-ball, good speed, really solid defensively. There's nobody that can replicate what Wemby can do. Sure, D-Rob can compete. Sure, Hakeem can compete. Sure, Greg Oden can compete. But nobody can beat Victor Wembanyama. My overall best card in the entire game. Is there anybody I missed out on, left off the list that should have been included? Let me know that down below in the comments, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this long and hopefully entertaining video. Drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.